What exactly happened when you were abducted by aliens all that time ago?
Well, we were going fishing. We had got off work at the shipyard that evening, and a friend of mine and I decided to go fishing. So while we were fishing, we seen some blue hazy lights out across the water, but they was reflecting from behind us. So when I stood up and turned around, then I noticed, I thought it was a law to start with, going to tell us to move. But I noticed that it was a real bright light all at one time, and that's when the craft opened up, the door on the craft opened up, and it was just really bright lights coming out. And that's when three, I call them aliens or beings of some kind, come out of the craft. Two of them got a hold of Charlie, myself. The craft was probably 300 yards away from us, or a football field. And they floated over. They didn't walk, they floated. And two of them got a hold of Charlie, and one of them got a hold of myself. So when they did, it was like I was scared. I was hunting a place to run, but it was nowhere to run. There was water in the front, water on the side. But immediately when they got a hold of us, I felt a little sharp something, and they must have gave me a shot to relax me. So they took us and floated us back aboard the craft. So when we got on the craft, I went in one direction. I didn't see Charlie anymore since then. I turned to look for him, but he was just gone. And they took me to the left of the craft, took me in a little room, and they put me on what I call a table, but I never felt the table behind me, but I was laying about a 45-degree angle, and there was a thing that come out of the ceiling, or it was just really floating, and it started circling my head. It was about the size of a deck of cards, but it was going click, 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 click about 4 times. And I figured it was kind of like an MRI or something, you know, thinking about it later. I didn't know what one was back then. But, and then this big ugly creature that brought me in, he left out. So when he left, automatically, I never seen a door open or anything, but this
it must have been
feminine-looking creature
Calvin, sorry,
came in.
we have to stop you for a second because this must have been absolutely terrifying. I mean, you're in a UFO with aliens, and what are they doing to you? They're sort of giving you an MRI and examination. That's what you thought was happening?
That's what I thought at the time, and yeah, it was really terrifying. But I was real relaxed about the whole deal when it was going on, because I think, well, later on they seen a mark on my arm, and I think that was kind of an injection site where they might have gave me something to settle me down.
Did they speak to you at all in any language or
any noises?
Well, they did have kind of a hissing noise, and then the big ugly creature, what I call him, left out. There was more of a feminine creature come in, and you know, she just looked at me, but I knew, for some reason, I knew what she was saying, and she said, "Don't worry about it." I thought, well, you know,
so she actually
don't do no
to
good
you.
to worry about it right now.
She actually said those words?
No, she didn't speak. She communicated through, I call it mental telepathy.
And then,
then
you were...
But I was thinking to myself while I was...
And then you were dropped back onto Earth again. You were taken out of the ship and put back in your boat. Is that what happened?
No, we wasn't in a boat. We was standing on an old metal pier at the Shaw Peters shipyard. The old shipyard had been abandoned for a long time, and it had growed up. And after she got through with her examination and all, the other creature came back in and levitated us and took us out to exactly the same spot where we were, and set me facing the water. And my arms was outstretched, and I really was still kind of dazed. I couldn't move. And then that's when I heard the friend that I was with, Charlie, said, Calvin, you okay?" And I thought, no, I'm not okay.
And then, Calvin, did you go to the police? What was their reaction when you went to the police to tell them what had happened to you?
We did. We called the police from a payphone at a store, and they come to check us to make sure that we wasn't drinking so we could drive. They said, "Stay right there." they gave us a sobriety test, and they took us, told me just to follow them to the sheriff department. So we did, and they separated us, put us in different rooms, and interrogated us. Then they put us back in the same room together, and that's when they made the tape. I didn't know they was taping, or Charlie didn't. We didn't find this out till later, but they had made a tape on us.
And it's taken you. Sorry to interrupt, but you finally put pen to paper, haven't you? And it's taken, what, 45 years for you to sit down and actually write this story?
Yes, sir. And I really didn't want to write it then, but I felt like I needed to. My wife and Philip, the publisher of the book, had talked to me. The press had been wearing me so much, and they never got the story straight, what I wanted. So that's like the Philip with the flying disc said, the publisher said that if you document it and put everything in paper and write it, then they can't change your words. They're there.
What do you say to people?
Before, I just tell them what they want to hear.
What do you say to people who don't actually believe your story?
Oh, it don't matter to me. It's their opinion, but I don't. It would be hard for me not to believe that there's life on other planets if I was somewhere else.